I don't get the fly fishing though.
Nah.
When you cast, you want to feel that heaviness and
You never watch the river runs through it? Ugh. Oh my God, it's fabulous. It's all about fly fishing.
You're trying to cast a feather, basically. What fun is that?
You got to go like, and just keep throwing it out and out and bring it back. And I don't know. I'm always afraid you're going to hook your eyeball.
And then if there's a 2-mile-an-hour wind, you can't even get it in the water because it just keeps blowing back into your face.
And you're all proud of the one you made. You got to hold it up because you wound some string around a hook with a feather on it. Shut up.
Who gives a fuck?
What the fuck? You just keep throwing. How did the fish ever get it?
Jimmy's mad.
I'm mad too. Because they don't even
reels it back in.
They don't even give it time to be in the water.
It's like Bill Hicks fishing. Who's this creep?
And you can't be bouncing above the water like that.
I wonder if that's why he wears glasses. To keep the fucking thing from hitting him in the eye.
Just in case the hook comes back at you.
See, I knew we'd get one. Brent in Oklahoma. Brent.
Hey, I love you guys.
Thanks, sir.
I knew going to straighten you out on this fly fishing deal. The fish is swimming along. He looks up and he sees this bug on top of the water.
Right.
He decides he's going to eat the bug.
Okay.
So he swims up, splash. You see the splash of the fish.
Right.
So that's when you cast out there. Now, the fish doesn't realize he ate the bug. So he looks back up to make sure the bug is gone, and there's your bug on the end of this fly rod.
And now it's replaced but with a hook.
Right.
So the fish is so stupid, he doesn't even know he just ate it.
It's a little more intelligent fishing than fishing with a lure or dragging
Hold on.
Wait a minute.
Intelligent fishing. How smart do you have to be to beat this animal psychologically? Picture yourself in a diner and you order cake. And you eat it, and a minute later you turn around, and there's a big metal hook on your plate, and then you go, I guess I didn't eat my cake. And you put it in your mouth, and King Kong reels you through the window. What a dumb animal the fish is. What do you do? It's not a chess match, sir.
The fisherman's looking for like a bloop where the fish was. And when he sees it, he goes, and he casts out to that area. Now, the fish ate the bug, but the fish is so stupid that he kind of looks up, looking for the bug he just ate.
Or maybe he's just looking for another bug. Because I don't think one bug's going to fill up a fish.
You're right. It could be looking for another
Brent
bug.
doesn't even know how to do it. Brent, he's not looking to see if he ate that particular
held
bug.
him down and questioned the fish.
He's looking up to see if there's any more bugs he could eat.
But I like the fact that you're into the psychology of the fish. You think he was faked out when it's obvious he thinks there's another bug.
Yeah. Norton.
Hold on, sir.
It's got to be another bug.
Who first thought that the fish was psyched out? Who first thought the fish was faked out? Who talked to a fish and said, go ahead, let's give us a replay of what happened? And the fish said, I thought it was the same bug that I didn't eat.
They've done studies on these.
No, they haven't. They never know. How do you study a fish? Has no arms.
You watch TV instead of cruising trannies for a change.
What's that, buddy?
Oh, wow.
I knew what he said.
Really hurtful.
Have you watched TV instead of cruising trannies some days?
No. Okay. I haven't, nor will I. That's how I pick up hookers. I throw my penis out the window, and they don't realize I didn't pay them, and they blow me and leave.
Jimmy tricks the trannies using the fly fishing logic. Let's say hi to Richard in Montauk. Richard.
Hey, how you doing? Listen, I'm from Montauk. I fish offshore for marlin and tuna. It's similar to what he's talking about. We throw out 2 teasers, fake lures, right? Or a set of lures, okay?
Yeah.
The fish comes up, goes after the lure, gets all lit up. We drop back 2 live bait fish or bait fish that are cut a certain way to look like they're swimming.
Right.
The fish jumps from the fake lure onto the real fish because you can't keep dragging live fish because they'll be ripped up because you're trolling. So you're right. The bug teases, the bug drops down, the fish comes up, then he would put out the fly, jump on the fly. So it's kind of similar in the concept.
That sounds like the worst activity in history.
Wait a second. You never caught a 600-pound blue marlin.
I haven't, no.
Have you, Jimmy?
No, why would I? For what? For what? Someone else will catch it for me.
Well,
and then they'll cook it for me.
Man.
It's a sport, Jimmy, for some
people. Not a sport.
It is a sport.
It's not a sport. Go in the water with your fists and punch the fish. That's a sport. You're standing in a fucking boat. It's not a sport. You have a hook and the fish has nothing but hunger.
Jimmy, it's a skill.
It's not a sport.
It's a
You bunch of fucking fat fucks drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon trying to hook some asshole fish.
And I don't drink.
Whatever, the fish is, how is it a sport if the fish could never know that was coming? The fish is just kind of swimming around, and all of a sudden there's metal in his mouth. It's not a sport. If you hop in the water and dress like bait, and then the fish shows up and you hook him with a hook on your fist, that's a sport.
Punch him in the mouth.
But you're in a boat.
It's a skill to get the fish up
It's not a skill, you're tricking a prehistoric animal. It's a real skill to get the shrub to stand still while you trim it. Yes, shrub trimming. That's a real sport. You have to sneak up or the bush will run and hide. No, it won't. It's a bush.
Jimmy.
It's not a sport.
Jimmy, it's a sport.
It's a fucking Holocaust. It's not a sport.
Holocaust? Oh
Yes,
my
I'm saying
God.
the fish have no chance of winning.
Oh my God.
Are you bothered by fishermen and hunters, Jimmy?
Not hunters. Is not
Fishing the Holocaust?
Hold on, sir. No, sir. I said it's a Holocaust, not the Holocaust. You reactionary, dopey fisherman. Shut up. A Holocaust. What I'm saying is this.
Fisherman.
Here's what I'm saying.
I'm also dopey gun collector.
Sir, you have the timing of a stroke. You just keep babbling. We're talking here. Hunting, I don't mind a guy who's fishing and hunting and then eating what he catches or whatever. I got no problem with that. My point is, don't look at it like it's a sport. You're not a sportsman.
Well, I didn't name it sports.
I'm just letting you know, you're not a sportsman.
What's a sportsman to you?
A guy who competes with others. I'm telling you, a sportsman is a guy who competes in a way with other athletes doing the same thing. That's a sportsman.
Yeah, that's why there's 50 or 60 boats fishing at the same area.
No, you're competing with other men to hook a fish. The direct competition is the animal, sir. The direct competition is the fish. It's the dopey, prehistoric, fucking one-cell-brained idiot that you tried to hook. That'd be like if you just ran out and tried to punch retarded people. That's a sport. I try to lure them with cotton candy on my fist.
Jimmy, did you ever go deep sea?
You know what? That's pretty accurate. That is pretty damn accurate.
No, I never have, sir, because I get seasick.
I have about 1 million times.
Yes.
And let me tell you something. I'm an expert. You're not.
Good, you're an expert, so you know that what you're doing is not a sport. Just admit that. It's fun.
No,
You like to do it.
Why doesn't you ask Opie?
Why doesn't you ask Opie? I don't know. I'll tell you what else you haven't done. Apparently you didn't read a lot while you're on the boat, do you? You just fucking throw that thing in there.
Richard, you might want to leave me out of this because I probably would have agreed with you until Jimmy's rant.
It's not a sport, sir. You're not a sportsman. You're not out there sporting.
He met me in the shop.
Jimmy has a hard time distinguishing some sports from others, or thinking some things are sports.
Yeah.
And this he doesn't happen to think is a sport.
I'm not saying you're not an athlete, but I'm saying when you're fishing.
What was that line again? The fish is hungry and you're what?
You have a hook and the fish has hunger. How is that a sport?
Yeah.
You're teasing the fish to come up to see what's on top.
Exactly.
Because we make the whole teasers look like bait fish.
Well, let me ask you a question. Why don't you, is NASCAR a sport? Somebody's writing yes, of course it is. Why don't you go in there, why don't you do this if you want it to be a sport? Why don't you dress like something that the fish would eat? And then when the fish comes up, you knock its fucking block off.
Well, I don't believe in NASCAR because I hate left turns.
But you understand what I'm saying, though? Why don't
because they make a lot of left turns. Yeah.
Sir, why don't you do, if that's a sport, like why don't you go shark fishing? Why don't you jump in there and trick the shark and attack, even if you have a weapon in your hand-to-hand combat with the shark. Why don't you do, that's a sport.
I like to see you do that. You know what, Jimmy?
I don't need to do it. I'm not saying it's a sport.
When we go out shark
I'm saying what it is.
When you're doing some kind of sport, there's got to be a winner and a loser. So how does the fisherman lose? I mean,
how we lose, we don't get the fish to the boat.
Yeah, but when a fish loses, it pretty much loses its life.
Yeah, what are you risking?
Unless you're,
we don't kill them.
Catch and throw.
What are you risking?
Catch and release, whatever. Yeah. Huh?
It's the adrenaline rush. Catching a blue marlin, standing up and fighting it for an hour, maybe 2 hours, maybe 3 hours.
Okay, so you're risking basically an adrenaline rush while the marlin is having the inside of his face ripped apart with a hook.
For hours.
Really? You give him a little trophy in the winner's cup when he wins?
All wood.
What do you give the fish when he wins? Just a scraped up mouth and you send him home? Now he's afraid to eat anything? You know how many fish probably become anorexics? Holy shit, does this guy just fucking babble? Just babbles. That's why Karen Carpenter suffered, because she went to eat one time and someone threw a hook in her mouth and she was afraid it would happen again.
Jimmy, my rebuttal is, listen,
No, I'm not going to listen. You haven't listened once. Every time I've tried to be funny, you just trample over it. You're like the fucking Blitzkrieg. Of course I'm funny, sir. Of course I am. You like the Germans in World War II. I'm trying to make a joke and you're just kicking in my national front door.
So are you suggesting we change like the rules of fishing? Maybe like if the fisherman has to lose something if he doesn't bring the fish into the boat.
The fishing should be called, what are you going to do? I'm going to go out and massacre some fish. That's what it is.
I guess the sport is that you're competing against other fishermen and they don't even acknowledge that the fish is anything.
Fish is part of it, yeah.
Then how about this? Why don't you and the other fucking dopey fishermen try to hook each other's eyeballs? That's a sport. You and some other jizz bucket and fucking waders and a big gut standing there in 10-degree water, hook each other's eyes with a fly fishing reel. That's fucking a sport. What happened to Bill? I ripped his thumb off. I won.